Alright, you detectives. The mystery behind the lost city of Petra solved. You know, there are many questions surrounding the ancient city of Petra. Who built it? What was it used for? And how is it that an entire city became lost? Some of the answers remain elusive even to the most avid historians. Thankfully, discoveries through the years have shed light on Petra and given the world some surprising insights. Keep on watching to discover why the city was said to be lost and to learn other impressive facts. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to join us on the bright side of life. Now, Petra is an ancient city carved into red desert cliffs. You might remember seeing it featured in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The city is located in Jordan, 150 miles from Amman, Jordan's capital, about the same distance from Jerusalem, and close to the Red Sea and the Dead Sea. It has been deserted for hundreds of years, but thousands of years ago, the city was thriving. Petra was a powerful trading center with a top-notch location for silk and spice trade routes. It was also the capital of the Nabataean Empire. The strategic location was the main trading route for spices, incense, and textiles, and it was a connection between Arabia, Africa, Egypt, and India. You can imagine massive caravans of camels carrying spices and other precious goods, all converging on Petra. This allowed the Nabateans to earn a huge amount of wealth. It is unsure when the city was built, but it is known to have been a prosperous city by the 1st century BCE. The Nabateans were expert in water technology. They constructed tunnels, dams, cisterns, and water chambers, and Petra was a type of oasis to weary travelers in search of water. This brilliant water engineering allowed the Petrans to stay in the city even in periods of drought and to survive flash floods. They created water aqueducts that redirected the flow of rainwater into the city for their survival. According to some estimates, at the height of its power, Petra was home to about 30,000 people. The facade of the buildings was carved directly into the canyons, and the buildings are marveled at for many reasons. The intricate carvings on the facade were a testament to the civilization's wealth and position of power in the trading business. The facade is called El Khazna, or the Treasury, and it is the official entrance to the city. It was carved out of a beautiful rosy red color sandstone, which is why Petra is also known as the Rose City. Other cultures became envious of Petra's prosperity, and the city had to fight off the Greeks. Petra succeeded over Greece, but when the Roman Empire sought to invade Petra, they faced defeat. For a long time, the city of Petra thrived under Roman rule. In the 4th century CE, an earthquake took down many parts of the city and caused irreparable damage to many areas. With their city damaged, the Romans decided to leave. The Byzantine Empire took over later on and ruled for nearly 300 years. Over time, Petra lost its strategic trading position, and it was left abandoned and hidden from most of the world. This is how Petra came to be a lost city. Petra is said to have been lost because it was unknown to Westerners and to most of the world. But it was never lost to the locals, as they knew that Petra was hidden in the desert. In fact, a particular group of people, called the Bedouin tribe, lived in caves inside the city. The Bedouin tribe didn't want others to know about Petra, as they feared people would head there to hunt for treasure and destroy the remains of the city. Therefore, they kept the location a safely guarded secret for years. Petra was discovered on August 22, 1812, by 27-year-old Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. He'd heard the locals talking about Petra when he was in Cairo. Johann disguised himself as an Arab and convinced a guide to take him to Petra. His discovery attracted the interest of archaeologists and scholars, and formal excavations took place in 1929. Among Petra's most impressive structures is an amphitheater. It originally held around 3,000 people and was used for political purposes. When the Romans arrived, they expanded it to hold 8,500 people. Other impressive structures include the treasury, the Street of Facades, the royal tombs, and the Ad Monastery. In 1985, Petra was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The government made a deal with the Bedouin tribe to relocate them a few miles away from the site and allow them exclusive rights to tourism business. Since 2007, it has been one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Even though the city has been discovered, a lot about Petra remains a mystery. For example, there are these massive stones called djinn, which are square monuments. No one knows why they were built or what they represent. Also, all the doors in Petra are of such a massive height that it asks the question of why Petrans needed such huge entryways into their buildings. The mystery abounds. Archaeologists don't really understand the purpose of the treasury. Some think it was a tomb for the Nabataean king. Others think it was a place to store documents, or even some sort of temple. What is known about the treasury is that it was one of the last structures to be built because it uses a type of framing that was introduced by the Roman Empire. It is unknown if the city itself was mostly a market, a religious site, or private housing. But it has been discovered that the majority of the structures seem to be for burial purposes. There are over 1,000 tombs in Petra. Many tombs were for family and tribal units, so they could be holding a huge number of people. The Nabateans were known to be nomads who lived in tents. Archaeologists are also unsure about whether they lived inside the city or outside in tents. If they lived inside, they would be surrounded by tombs. It's hard to know what their living situation was, since they didn't leave any written records and didn't have any libraries. Discoveries are still being made about Petra. In 2016, satellites revealed a ceremonial site the length of an Olympic pool and twice as wide. A set of scrolls that dates back to the Byzantine period has also been found in recent years, but researchers are still trying to analyze its contents. Zidoun al-Muhaisin, an archaeologist from Jordan's Yarmouk University, has been excavating in Petra since 1979, and he says they have only discovered 15% of Petra. The remaining 85% is still underground and untouched. So there's still much left to be discovered about this great city. Currently, the city of Petra is exposed to the elements. As such, it's vulnerable to erosion from the wind and rain. The area is also known for flash floods, which threaten to cause further damage to the facade. The political climate of the Middle East affects how many tourists visit Petra. But even with these complications, Petra greeted over 450,000 visitors in 2016. It is one of the most visited archaeological sites in the world. Pretty cool, huh? So tell us, Brightsiders, will you add Petra to your bucket list? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to give this video a like, share it with your friends, and click subscribe to stay on the bright side.